the front runner of the MVP for the NFL this season, honestly, it's so interesting to me. And I don't think you could have said any of the front runners. I think there are a few, and we're going to talk about some interesting kind of narratives moving in here. I think there are a few front runners for the NFL MVP. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that these four players might be the front runners, I would have said you're crazy. Matt Stafford, and the possibility of being an MVP front runner, with the conversation of him chasing father time, with him chasing the back injuries, with all the stuff where now there's more of the rumors out there that maybe potentially he's a clone of Matt Stafford, not actually Matt Stafford. On the flip side, you have the young gun and Drake May, who didn't really show a lot of promise last year with the old coaching regime. Enter Vrabel, and that completely changes. Add a couple weapons around him, that completely changes. They've turned the New England Patriots back into, dare I say, potentially back to the dynasty ways of the Patriots, and he's right in conversation for MVP. I want to get to the other two in just a minute, but if I would have told you those were the front runners for MVP this year, if I would have told you this in August, you would have said what?
I mean, I would have said you're wrong. I mean, the Patriots and Drake May's success as a Patriots fan is refreshing. It's great, but I did not think it was going to happen this fast. I remember the conversation of how many games the Patriots were favored in to start the season, and it was a big jump. I think they jumped to like 7 or 8. I could be wrong on that number, but they were favored in a lot more games this season than last. And even in that conversation, people were saying, well, they're wrong about that. The Patriots are going to come up short. Like, they just don't have what it takes right now. Well, they kind of do. They kind of have whatever it is that what the first dynasty had. I'm not getting too far ahead of myself here, but look out for 6 Super Bowls in the next 20 years from the Patriots. I am super excited about what this Patriots team is about. And Drake May seems to be the real deal. As far as Matt Stafford, I'm not going to say anything about like his age, but I definitely had thoughts of like, it might be time to hang him up. Like, he's struggling with injury. The Rams weren't where they were a few years ago. I was happy to see him come back because selfishly, like, there's not a whole lot of guys left from that generation. Tom Brady's out, Drew Brees is out, Peyton Manning is out, all those kinds of guys. Matt Stafford sticking around, all of a sudden turns it all around. I mean, makes Puka Nacua look like maybe the greatest receiver of all time. This Rams team is very much in the conversation with the Super Bowl this year. I cannot believe, like, both of those feel so improbable to me that that's what makes the NFL so electric.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I agree with everything you just said. I'll say the age thing. I'm not afraid. Maybe it's because I'm closer to Stafford's age than you. I mean, we just talked about the Phillip Rivers conversation last night, and there was a tweet, a graphic that came up talking about him playing college football in 2000s. You weren't even born yet, and that was insane to me. But Matt Stafford, 35 touchdowns right now, leading the entire league in touchdowns at 35 touchdown passes. He's 4th in passing. And you're right. He's putting the Rams right back on the map. That NFC West is so tough right now with them and the Seahawks. And you could even put the Niners in the conversation as they limp their way through a potential playoff spot. It's an incredible division. And Stafford continues to show that, hey, it doesn't matter how old I am. Right. We just talked about Kyle Schwarber being 32. Matt Stafford's 37 years old. He's not the glorious 44-year-old Phillip Rivers coming in after running the sequel of Cheaper by the Dozen and saying, you know what, maybe I'll play a little bit of foosball this year. Maybe I'll do that. No, Matt Stafford, though, is sitting around and playing every single one of these games and is impressive. He's not doing it just getting by either. Like, we're seeing some of these quarterbacks that are aging in years, like Aaron Rodgers, like he's not impressing. He's not wowing you. Like, he's doing what needs to get done to potentially get the Steelers to the playoffs. Matt Stafford is putting himself in the MVP consideration at 37 years old. He'll be 38 around the same time the Super Bowl is, if the Rams can make it that way. I mean, this is a guy going back, I don't know, hopefully you were born here. He was drafted in 2009, Nick. He was the first overall pick. I'm pretty sure you were around then. But
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, Matt Stafford's insane. But Drake May, you talk about the AFC East, Josh Allen, what he did last year, winning MVP. You could have easily 2 of the best quarterbacks, and you might be able to make the conversation that you have the 2 best quarterbacks in the same division for the next decade. Insane.
I can't believe what Drake May has become for the Patriots, and I don't want this to just become a Patriots conversation. We're going to get to a few other candidates as well, but just really quickly, like what the Patriots have been able to do, bringing in Diggs, bringing in Travion Henderson, which we didn't really know, what he was going to be out of Ohio State, I believe. Just an absolute weapon for the Patriots this season, and then Will Campbell, like all the moves that the Patriots are making right now seem to be working out. And the Drake May one, I'm going to be honest, like when we grabbed Mac Jones, it just felt like, this doesn't feel like the right move. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the way he walked up to the stage, but it just didn't feel right. Drake May definitely feels right. And I'm so glad that it's panning out, because you take a swing like that at 3, like it kind of has to work out. You didn't trade up. You just sat there. And you got a guy like, if he's already in MVP conversations in year 2, no, I did not expect this at all. But I'm very, very happy. Even if he doesn't win it, like he's bringing the Patriots success. So I am completely thrilled.
Stafford was number 1 overall pick. Speaking of another number 1 overall pick, this was in 2017. Myles Garret. I mean, we talk about MVP award, and usually quarterbacks are the first to come to mind. I think rightfully so. Obviously, it's the most important position in the world of NFL or college football, or just the general in sports of football. But Myles Garret, what he's doing this year should put him in consideration for the MVP award. He has 20 sacks on the season already. Still has 4 games left. The sack record is 22 and a half, set by J.J. Watt. If he can do this, if he can do it before the 3rd game of the season, obviously not talk about that extra game, that's even more impressive. Like, imagine if he did it next week, where he did it with only 15 games or 14 games instead of the 17, and which is absolutely possible. The Browns are starting to show a little bit of signs of life with Shedeur Sanders, we talked about yesterday, as the quarterback. And he decided to stay long-term, Myles Garret, to stick around with the Browns franchise. He got paid, and he's letting them show that he's for real. He has 20 sacks. ESPN Logistics are projecting him to finish the season with 26 sacks on the year. I don't know if he gets that far. I don't know if he gets there, but with 4 games left, does he get 6 sacks? That sounds possible. I would say he gets to 24, 25. If that's the case, he deserves to be in the MVP conversation.
I mean, he deserves to be in the conversation, but I guess I just ask, what is the MVP to you? Because I think that that's a little bit of an ambiguous award. It's kind of like what the Heisman's become. Like, what are you looking for when you say he's the MVP? Like, is he actually the most valuable player? Is he the best player on their team? Because the Browns are 3-10. So I hate to be that guy, but and what he's doing is absolutely incredible. I am not taking anything away from the amount, unreal. But the Browns are at the bottom of the AFC North at 3-10. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying they have to be at 11-2, but I don't think being 3-10 is like, the argument is that he's the most valuable player on their team, and in that case, there's not a win, tied to that. That's why I ask, like, what exactly are you looking for here?
If I was a voter, I'm completely on board with you. Yeah, the most valuable player is the most valuable to your team that's helping you win games. And that's why you normally see the MVP race given to a quarterback of a team that is in the playoff hunt or doing something very good, like what we saw with Josh Allen last year, what we've seen with Patrick Mahomes in the past, Aaron Rodgers in the past. All those teams were in the playoffs. Peyton Manning, all those teams were playoff teams. Yeah, I think Myles Garret more has the chance of just winning Defensive Player of the Year, and that makes a lot of sense. But I still think he deserves MVP votes. I don't think he's going to get it. On the flip side, we talked about the Rams on how important that team has been, how wild the NFC West has been. Jackson Smith-Njigba, what he has done, JSN, on the receiving end, he's on pace for a record-setting year as well. He's on pace for 2,000 yards. We were talking about records for receivings. Calvin Johnson had 1,964 yards in 2012. I don't know if you remember 2012, but yeah, that was a great year. And JSN is on pace to do that in year 1 of Sam Darnold, in year 1 without DK Metcalf, in year 1 of basically the new system under Clinton Kubiak for the Seattle Seahawks. I think you could make the consideration that JSN is considered the most valuable player on the Seahawks and helping them get wins for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been unbelievable. And I will say 2012, great year. 2016 might top it if you're asking me. It's definitely up there, but 2012 was also a very good year. I don't know where to land on this, especially with the history of, Cooper Cup, Triple Crown. I would love to see JSN really flourish and get a ton of MVP votes. It's so hard for a wide receiver to do that because the quarterback is the one giving them the ball, and the quarterback can throw to other guys too. So like if one wide receiver is seeing just a ridiculous amount of success, they kind of need the rest of their team to fail to be that guy to show how valuable they are. They're always going to be, conversations of like, well, it's the scheme, well, it's the quarterback. I'm not saying JSN doesn't deserve it, but wide receivers in general just have a very steep hill to climb because there are so many other factors. Do you think he can overcome some of that? Do you think he needs to pick up production over the last few weeks? Does there need to be like a quote unquote Heisman play, one standout catch or touchdown or game winner or whatever that puts him over the edge? Or do you think he's good where he's at?
I think he's going to receive votes, but I don't think he's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to, honestly, I think it's going to come down to May and Stafford. That's just how it is. Look, in 2012, I just looked it up when you were talking. In 2012, when Calvin Johnson broke the record for most receiving yards, he wasn't even in the AP voting. And it wasn't even two quarterbacks either. If you remember, it was Adrian Peterson and Peyton Manning back then.
Peterson. Oh, what a pull. Not even like
Calvin
elite
Johnson
ball knowledge, but man,
check this out. They didn't even care about offensive player of the year. Calvin Johnson finished 4th in offensive player of the year voting the year he broke the record. Adrian Peterson, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady surpassed him for the AP offensive player of the year. Yeah. So
that's what that is. That's an instant of people not being they just let greatness fly. They just didn't even witness what was right in front of their eyes.
But what team was Calvin Johnson on? Those Lions teams weren't very good. It goes back to your conversation.
They were literally running press punt coverage on Calvin Johnson, and people just like assumed he'd be around forever. I'm upset that he came in 4th. That's a little rude.